Good afternoon, friends. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Deputy Prime Minister of Italy and our Honorable Commerce Minister. Welcome, sir, for this important press briefing. We will begin with a brief statement by both the dignitaries. After that, we will take your questions. And over to you, sir. Sir, would you like?
Thank you very much. A warm welcome to His Excellency, Deputy Prime Minister of Italy, Mr. Tajani, and all his huge delegation of nearly 100 business persons who have come to India to strengthen the Italy-India partnership. We are, in some sense, reaffirming the deep-rooted ties between Italy and India. Today, business, science and technology, innovation, education, there are so many areas of cooperation between Italy and India, not to talk about investments and tourism also. We are trying to forge impactful partnerships across different sectors and convert this strategic partnership to a comprehensive strategic relationship which will significantly increase our current bilateral trade from $15 billion going forward. We have shared interests in different areas like space. We are working together on the India, Middle East, European corridor, on Global Biofuels Alliance, the ISA, the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and working together to make the EU-India FTA a reality by the end of the year, as was decided by Prime Minister Modi and President von der Leyen. We believe that blending Italy's design excellence with India's skill and scale of high-quality, cost-effective products can help bring resilience to our supply chains, expand cooperation in areas like food processing, shipbuilding, pharmaceuticals, textiles, and luxury and fashion. We have agreed to convene the next Joint Commission for Economic Cooperation in Italy, where I will be leading a large delegation of Indian business persons from areas where we share interest in the very near future, possibly the next month or two. Friends, together we are committed to strengthen manufacturing, co-manufacturing, designing, co-designing in different areas and support each other with two countries which are not in competition but collaborate with each other and complement each other and our strengths. The foundation has been laid, the blueprint is clear. Now the time is only to invest, trade, and grow to a bright future. Thank you.
Sir, over to you.
Good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I want to thank Minister Goyal for the Indian government for kind hospitality. It's a very, very important day for the cooperation between India and Italy. Very positive political meetings, very positive business to business. And we are very happy for this because it's possible to strengthen the cooperation between our countries at industrial level. As you know, Italy is the second most important industrial country in Europe, and for us to work in this sector is crucial. For Italy, trade is super important. It is 40% of our GDP. And for this to explore new markets and to strengthen our presence in the most important markets in the world, as India, for us is crucial. Also, in this difficult moment, there are two wars in the world close to us, Ukraine and Middle East, but also there is the problem with the tariffs. Of course, our idea is to reduce the tariffs, not to increase the tariffs. We want to achieve agreements also with the Americans. Our goal is 0 tariffs, and we are talking with the Americans as Europeans, but also as Italians for supporting this European strategy. With India, we are working well, and we want to do more, and we want also to reduce our barriers, and we are doing the best, India and Italy, for supporting, for paving the way for a better cooperation between our companies. We are ready for also organize joint ventures, for working together, for example, in Africa, because Africa is a rich continent with power people. But through our companies, it's possible to do more. We are, of course, against the colonization, but I think it is important to export our know-how. Both India and Italy are ready for doing more also in this part of the world. There are many sectors. Minister Goyal underlined the point. Many sectors, machinery, also agri-food, but also space. Space is very important. For this, I will organize in the next 1 or 2 months an important business forum in Brescia with the Minister Goyal, inviting a lot of Indian companies, Italian companies, for strengthening the cooperation between our organizations in many sectors, but I will organize also a round table on space, because space is the future. It's a clean industry. It's important to there are not only big companies, but also a lot of small and medium-sized companies working around the most important companies. Finally, for us, we want to do more with India. We want to strengthen our partnership, and an important occasion is the Cotton Corridor. It's a link between India and Italy through Israel, through the Gulf, and for this I will organize in Trieste. Is the end of the beginning of this corridor. The end of the beginning is India, and I want to organize a meeting with all the Ministers of Foreign Affairs involved in this corridor. It's very important for strengthening trade. When there is trade, we don't have weapons. But this is important to work all together for this new strategic partnership, for this new strategic corridor for us, but also for India, for other countries. Trade is the future. In my action plan for the Italian trade, India is one of the most important counterparts. For this, I am very happy. We are paving the way for a good cooperation, also not only between ministers, but also between Indian and Italian companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We will now take some questions. First, we will invite the visiting Italian media persons to begin the question-answer sessions with their question. I would request you to announce your name, your organization, and who your question is addressed to. So we begin with the first question. Yeah, you can do in Italian also. We have a translator for for all of us to translate in English. Yes. Who do we begin with? Yeah. Please go ahead. You have a mic there?
So my question is for both of the ministers, if it's possible. You spoke about the strengthening the relationships, economic and ties from India to Italy and vice versa, but in very concrete way, how this there will be some investments we are talking about maybe some sectors that are prioritized with some new investment that are going to be announced. I don't know, maybe something more specific about that. Thank you.
I think there are three things that we can clearly see to strengthen our relationship. There will be investments on both sides. In fact, many of the participants at the luncheon today spoke about their current and future plans to invest in Italy and vice versa. Second, there will be expanded trade, for which we are also engaged in an India-EU free trade agreement. And third, we see tremendous potential for collaboration in areas like tourism, areas like space technology, defense production, shipbuilding. So there's huge potential in even the non-core trade areas. Of course, when we look at trade, there are areas like textiles, fashion and luxury. There's pharmaceuticals, machine building, gem and jewelry, and of course, food processing, agri-tech. These are areas that can significantly give us collaborative benefits. And lastly, we are also engaged in a startup bridge, which was launched by Prime Ministers Modi and Meloni about a year and a half ago. And we would like to strengthen the startup bridge between Italy and India. Thank you.
I agree with Minister Goyal on the sectors. Also, it's possible to add culture is an important sector for us. I think there is an important business forum on cinema and television in May in India. I will push the Italian companies working in this sector for be present here, because also this sector is important to strengthen the cooperation, because it's an historical heritage in India and cinema as in Italy. For this, when we have the same heritage, it's possible to do more, to move on in the same direction. For this, this sector is also very, very important. Today, I am going to Italian Cultural Institute for the presentation of Caravaggio. This is very important. For this, at cultural level, is crucial. Also, culture is also business. For this, also sport is a business. And also machinery, of course, space, of course, chemistry, of course. I want also to work more in steel sector. There are problems, but when there are problems, we need to work for achieving good results. We need to be solving problems. And I will work on this. Finally, there are many sectors where it's possible to do more. Defense, of course, as the Minister said, space also is crucial. Fashion also. Finally, the agri-food sector, for example. This agri-food, also chemistry, agri-food sector. For this, there is also a good Italian know-how. For this, I think it's possible to increase the number of the sector when it's possible to cooperate from now for strengthening our economies.
We will have one question now from the Indian side. Just a moment. Yes, I think there's a follow-up question from the Italian side. Please, do you have a mic there?
Salve, avevo una domanda per il Ministro Tajani. Volevo chiederle se il governo teme un'eventuale nuova retromarcia del Presidente Trump sui dazi, se teme che possa di nuovo cambiare idea. E poi volevo chiederle anche, sempre sui dazi, se secondo lei bisogna ancora tenere la guardia alta, se ha tirato un sospiro di sollievo quando ha visto la notizia, o insomma.
The question is on the tariffs. We are happy for the Trump decision to postpone. Io credo che la decisione di Trump sia stata una decisione positiva, perché va nella direzione da noi sempre auspicata, quello di un dialogo tra l'Europa e gli Stati Uniti. Nel mondo le guerre commerciali non fanno bene a nessuno, per questo noi siamo per abbassare le tariffe e ovviamente serve una reciprocità. Noi anche lunedì scorso, durante la riunione del Consiglio Affari Esteri e Commercio, avevamo proposto di rinviare anche le controtariffe, avevamo visto lungo, però bene è stato anche da parte del commissario Šefčovič e della Presidente von der Leyen di rinviare l'adozione delle controtariffe di 90 giorni. Speriamo che questi 90 giorni servano a trovare una buona soluzione. Voi sapete qual è il nostro obiettivo: zero tariffe, per creare un grande mercato unico occidentale, Stati Uniti e Europa. Non sappiamo che cosa accadrà, noi siamo sempre comunque al lavoro per sostenere la politica commerciale del nostro Paese. Come ho detto, il 40% del prodotto interno lordo italiano deriva dalle esportazioni e siamo qui proprio perché vogliamo rinforzare anche con grandi paesi come l'India, paesi sempre più forti, diciamo il paese cruciale nell'Indo-Pacifico. Vogliamo rafforzare la nostra presenza di esportazione ma anche la nostra politica industriale. Abbiamo il piano d'azione che voi conoscete e domani partirò alla volta del Giappone dopo essere stato qui in India, proprio per dimostrare quanto noi seguiamo le nostre imprese. Questo non vuol dire che lasceremo mai il mercato americano, come non lasceremo mai il mercato europeo, ma se vogliamo raggiungere l'obiettivo dei 700 miliardi prima della fine della legislatura bisogna lavorare molto in paesi grandi e importanti come l'India.
So he has said that as Trump has proposed the new tariffs, so we have to wait for 90 days to get it properly finalized. But what they wish that there should be no tariff to have more business, more development for both the countries. So we have to wait and let's see what they will propose in coming days.
Thank you. Rajesh Rai, PTI.
Sir, you in the morning you said India-EU talks are progressing well, but still there are sensitive areas which needs to be looked after. Can you throw some more light, sir?
We don't negotiate free trade agreements in the press room. They are negotiated in the office. Things are progressing well. If there were no sensitive issues, we could have concluded that agreement 18 years ago also. Obviously, there are issues and we are working to resolve those issues.
Italy is supporting the trade agreement between India and the European Union. We will do our best for achieving this goal because it's very, very important. In this moment, as I said, trade is against weapons. When there is trade, we don't have weapons.
Thank you. Next question from the Italian side. Yes, please.
Very active, the Italian journalist.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I work for the National Italian Television. A question for Minister Tajani. I would know if you trust in the next meeting between Prime Minister Meloni and President Trump in Washington in the middle of April, and in a very concrete way, what's the goal of the Italian government? Could Italy play a role to boost an agreement between EU and US about tariffs? And to Minister Goyal, do you define chaos, what created the Trump decision about tariffs, especially considering the business and the entrepreneurs in India too, or not?
Well, we are amongst the first countries to engage with the US, and we are already in dialogue with the US to come to a bilateral trade agreement which will be in the mutual interest of expanding business between the United States and India, two of the largest democracies in the world, and two countries which complement each other, which have huge synergy, which also can work together for global good. And looking at the growth that India offers in the next 25, 30 years, with a large population, young population, aspirational young Indians who will add to the demand for goods and services, we believe that India will be a compelling case to enter into a good agreement with the United States, and we have set a target to grow our bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. And towards that end, we are having very good negotiations with the US.
My answer will be before in English and then in Italian for the Indian journalist. I think the trip of Italian Prime Minister to Washington, there is an invitation by the American administration. The goal is to work against a trade war. The goal is to push in the right direction for an agreement between America and European Union. Italy is not alone. Italy will support, will back the action of Commissioner Šefčovič, the European Commission, for stopping this situation. As I said, our goal is zero tariffs for a big market, transatlantic market, free market, Europe-America. Il nostro obiettivo è quello di impedire una guerra commerciale. La missione del Presidente del Consiglio a Washington, su invito del Presidente degli Stati Uniti, ha come obiettivo quello di dare un contributo alla riduzione della tensione, a favorire un accordo tra Unione Europea, che ha l'unica competenza, perché la competenza è degli Stati Uniti, e della Commissione Europea, per arrivare a un accordo con gli Stati Uniti. C'è grande attenzione, direi anche grande sostegno da parte sia della Commissione Europea che degli altri governi europei nei confronti dell'Italia, che con il suo primo ministro sarà a Washington nei prossimi giorni, poi ci sarà la visita a Roma del vicepresidente Vance, perché possa sostenere la posizione dell'Europa e favorire un dialogo più consistente, e quindi in questi 90 giorni poter arrivare ad un accordo che impedisca una guerra tariffaria che sarebbe disastrosa per tutti. È stato un errore imporre i dazi, adesso c'è questa sospensione, noi vogliamo l'accordo perché, come dicevo prima, dove passano le merci non passano le armi, e noi vogliamo che passino più merci e meno armi.
We'll have a question from the Indian side now.
Domenica il commissario Šefčovič sarà di nuovo negli Stati Uniti per trattare sui dazi, quindi si avvarrà anche del sostegno del governo italiano.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry. The Commissioner Šefčovič will be in Washington this weekend, the next weekend, for new meetings with the Americans. I want to be optimistic.
Myself, Manoj Kumar from Reuters News Agency. My question to Deputy Prime Minister Tajani and our Minister Goyal. Sir, how do you see the US President's decision to pause the reciprocal tariffs? And now their hike in tariffs for China and China's retaliatory tariffs, its impact on the global trade, and does it impact your Italy or the India side to fast track its bilateral deals with US and the EU-India deals? Thank you.
I think we have no comments to give on China, and our relationship is a strong relationship standing on its own legs.
I agree with the Minister. The relations between USA and China are bilateral relations. I talk on the relations between the European Union, and Italy is part of the European Union, and America. We are against new tariffs. Has been a mistake to put on the table new tariffs against our products. We need to achieve the goal 0-0 on the relations between India and Italy. We are working hard for a better cooperation also on trade, on industry, but on China is a problem between China and America.
Due to paucity of time, we will have the last question. We offer that question to the visiting Italian press corps. If there is anything you want to raise now.
Anybody here?
Okay. Sumita ji.
Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, I'm Sumita from ET now. Just a quick word on the areas of cooperation that you've mentioned, whether it's shipbuilding, whether it's fashion, tourism, space tech, defense, etc. How are you looking at the manufacturing cooperation with India, given that Make in India has been a strong pitch by India? And also, I want to get in your comments on supply chain diversification with respect to India, because that's been a strategy by very many companies across the globe, even as we're seeing a volatility in global trade.
But we are two industrial countries, and it's important to understand the problems of our partner. But I think there are barriers at European level, also at Indian level, and it's possible, no tariff barriers. It's possible to do more, and with the Minister Goyal, we decide to work together for achieving good results on this, also for strengthening the cooperation at industrial level. We are ready for investing more in India. We are ready for receiving Indian investors in my country, in every sector. There are a lot of Indian entrepreneurs working in my country, but there are also a lot of Italian entrepreneurs working in India. I am absolutely in favor of joint ventures also in this sector. As you said, space is very, very important for me because it's the future. Space is important not only because there are companies working in space. Space is crucial, for example, for the conservation of the earth, for agriculture, against illegal immigration, for civil protections. To combine the different signals coming from the different constellations is important for achieving good results. For this, the cooperation also in space is very, very important. Of course, when there is an agreement, there are also problems, but our job as politicians is to be a problem solver, not to put all the problems. For this, with Minister Goyal, we are working for solving the problems.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Minister, sir. Thank you, friends, for joining us. That will be all for the day. Thank you.